What's going on in this GDC here? We're talking about Armoni Brooks and why I think he deserves some more minutes on the Rockets. So we're gonna be breaking down his situation right now and then breaking down his future moving on to these Rockets. So if you like what you see, drop in the low, press the sub button. We do NBA content, but mostly Houston Rockets. Today we got a Houston Rockets video right before our final preseason game against the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow. So I will be tuning in to watch that game, but probably will not stream it. So we're talking about Armoni Brooks today. If you like what you see, drop a like down below, press the sub button, and let's just get straight into it. Talking about his preseason stats first. Just 3 games played, and in 13 minutes, he is averaging 10 points per game, 1 assist, and 0.3 rebounds on 56% from the field and then 56% from 3. His only field goals made in the preseason are all threes, which is pretty amazing. And he is averaging 5 threes a game and making 3 of them. So pretty great volume, pretty great, 3-pointers made in only 13 minutes too. So yeah, and also he's shooting 75% from the free throw, which is actually pretty good. So Armoni Brooks off the bench, I think he could become something like a Gerald Green type of player where he comes in, gives us some 3-point shooting, and if he's not hot, then he sits out. But then if he is pretty hot from 3, which hopefully he is, he stays in and then gets us some more buckets. So I think we could utilize him as mostly like a spot up shooter or someone that can create their own shot, or play make. So Armoni, I think he could become maybe a 6th man, maybe a 7th man. The thing is that we also have Josh Christopher on the team, who I think he's pretty impressive too. I've made some videos about him before, and he's been turning a lot of heads too. But mostly Armoni Brooks, like, I definitely love what he's doing right now, especially how the Houston Rockets are handling his situation. He did sign a 4-year contract with the Rockets. The first year is guaranteed, and the rest of the years are a team option. So I'm not too sure what he's making too, but I don't think it's that much, to be honest with you. So Armoni Brooks off the bench, like, I think he's gonna get some more minutes now with that signing, because like looking at the other guys on the roster, Dante Exum, I don't think he's gonna get any more. Well, I don't want to say like any more minutes, but I don't think he's gonna get as much minutes as he is right now, averaging 14 minutes per game. Obviously in the preseason too, but Augustine and Armoni both play the exact same position, point guard. I mean, maybe Armoni's a true shooting guard, but they can both play the point guard, and Armoni plays the shooting guard. But I think he could play over Augustine. Augustine isn't having a great preseason, but isn't also having a really terrible one. So I'm not really too sure what we do with Augustine. Maybe like a veteran type of role where he kind of mentors the young guys, kind of like Armoni Brooks and Josh Christopher. But off the bench, he can become like John Wall, where he just mentors the guys off the bench whenever we have a game, and give them some tips, some advice, and what they need to work on. So Armoni, moving forward, I want him to be our 6th or 7th man, maybe 7th man, because Josh Christopher, I like him at the 6th man. He could replace Eric Gordon, and quite honestly, if he develops like a pretty great defensive game, play some pretty solid on-ball defense, which I know he can, but as of right now, he's pretty below average defender, which makes sense because honestly, like Armoni Brooks, his body frame is pretty slim. He is 6'3", so nothing really there to work with, but I think he could become a pretty average defender, but as of right now, a pretty below average defender. So Armoni, the thing about him is that we could use him as a spot up shooter, but I'm not too sure because off the bench, we got Josh Christopher, who can pretty much play make at a pretty decent level. We got KJ Martin, we got Alperen Şengün and Usman Garuba, but we don't really have a true ball handler. Maybe Josh Christopher, because he is averaging 1 assist off the bench. Like, he's probably our best bet in terms of a ball handler. Maybe Eric Gordon, but he's getting up there, so I think we could look to move Eric Gordon pretty soon alongside John Wall. So with those two out of the equation and DJ Augustine not really getting too many minutes, Josh Christopher or Armoni could be 2 of our best ball handlers off the bench. And I like Armoni as a ball handler, but Christopher, I think he has proven to be a bit of a better ball handler than Armoni, because Armoni, he's mostly taking threes. He can spot up. We play a lot of plays for Armoni to get open, curling off the screen, backdoor screens, getting open in a corner. Any way possible for him to get a 3. And, Christopher, he's already shown basically for him to handle the ball at a pretty high level. Can play around the screens a lot, played it a lot. I think in the first game, he played with a lot of screens and made a lot of step back threes. So Christopher, I think he's already that proven ball handler off the bench. But as of right now, I just don't see these two guys getting any minutes because we have a pretty big bench as of right now. I think like in the first 3 games, we've been playing basically everyone on the roster. Even people like Dante Exum, Jae'sean Nix, Anthony Lamb has actually been getting some minutes too. He played in 1 game. Jae'sean Nix played in 1 game. The only person that hasn't played are obviously John Wall and Tyler Bay, who we waived for signing Armoni Brooks. So yeah, other than that, we do have 18 people on our roster right now. Anthony Lamb and Jae'sean Nix. Anthony Lamb's on a 2-way, so it doesn't count. Jae'sean Nix is on a 10-day contract. And then Tyler Bay got waived, so that just leaves us with 16 people. Daniel House, Usman Gruba, Dante Exum, Augustine House, I already said House, David Nwaba, and Eric Gordon. Those are names to see. Well, those are names to look out for when it comes to the Rockets waiving. I think Daniel House is probably the odd man out. To be honest with you, there's just not much to work with House anymore, and I don't really think he fits in with the team anymore. So House should definitely go, and we should have our 15-man roster by the end of the preseason or the start of the regular season. So yeah, Armoni, I just love his game a lot, especially with how we found him. He was in our G League affiliate, the Rio Grande Vipers, and he was pretty much balling in the G League too. I don't have his stats pulled up from the G League, but from what I remember, he was taking a lot of threes, which, you know, obviously his game revolves around threes, but he was impressing a lot of people. I remember watching some games and talking with other Houston Rockets fans saying that we should bring up Armoni Brooks, and it definitely happened, and it was pretty impressive. He did start off pretty slow when he first got called up, but definitely turned it up at the end of the season. I think he averaged like 11 points per game in, what was it, like 20 games. So he had a lot of flashes last season, a lot of 20-point games when, you know, KPJ was injured or Christian Wood was injured, and when we still had Kelly Olynyk. Olynyk and him were pretty okay. You know, Olynyk had a lot of gravity going to the basket, and Armoni would, you know, make some threes. But with you know, Kelly Olynyk out, you know, with him being the only pure 3-point shooter off the bench, I think he's gonna get more opportunity getting some threes and getting the ball more. So hopefully he gets some minutes, especially tomorrow against the Spurs, which should be a pretty interesting matchup. But we'll see. Armoni Brooks definitely deserves some minutes, definitely deserve that contract, and, you know, congratulations, Armoni. So that's the video. My name is JDC, and I'm out. Peace.